Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Serena and I am your go-to source for all things sensitive. Welcome back. Today we are going to be talking about why, as a highly sensitive person, you will never be able to fix a broken system. And I want to say thank you for everyone for watching and joining. And if you're new here, welcome. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button so you don't miss all the latest videos, meditations, how-to guides that are coming out. And without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay guys, this might seem like a very negative video or episode, but really this idea of fixing a broken system really isn't negative at all, but it has to do with shifting our mindset and making a simple mindset shift. So I know for myself, if you grew up highly sensitive or empathic growing up, a lot of us felt like the system was broken. You know, we felt like our parents or our siblings didn't understand us and couldn't figure out how to, work with our sensitivities. We also felt the same way in school a lot of times. I remember in school being very overwhelmed in a class of 30 kids or with the amount of homework, and because as a highly sensitive person, our depth of processing is so much more significant than other people's, it oftentimes leads us to feeling like we're running behind because we're trying to keep up with the normal load of schoolwork while we're also feeling, and our depth of processing is so extreme that it's hard to do all of that at once, not to mention the external stimulus that's coming in. I know I talk about this all the time. My two favorite words are probably external stimulus. But it's true, the amount of stuff that's coming into a highly sensitive person's field at all times, and is either being absorbed or even just noticed, is a lot to take in at once. And so we grew up in these systems that we felt were broken. We felt like we weren't treated the way that we needed in order to thrive. You think of like a flower, and in order for a flower to bloom, it needs certain conditions. It's the same thing with everything. Every single thing you see in nature needs certain conditions in order to flourish. And there's a quote that I love out there, and some of you may already know where I'm going with this. But the quote is that when a flower doesn't bloom, you don't change the flower, you change the environment that the flower is in. And so a lot of highly sensitive people I know, and myself as well, grew up in school systems or family systems where they felt like there was something wrong with them. They felt like they were bad and wrong for just existing. They felt like they were less than, or a lot of times were misdiagnosed and maybe put on the autistic spectrum, or put into school systems or systems in school that were not actually meant for them. Or there wasn't even a particular system created for the highly sensitive person. I know that's my experience growing up. There was not really even a system created for me. So I spent a lot of my time in school growing up in the arts because that seemed to me to be the most compatible type of system for me to spend my time in. So I took almost every art class, photography class, design class that my middle school and high school offered, because of the fact that that felt like the most supportive environment to me. So it was the one I was naturally drawn to. And as an empath or a highly sensitive person, you might have been the same way, where you spent a lot of time in creative writing classes or drawing classes, or you spent a lot of time in peer tutoring classes where you were actually helping other students, because those are spaces where the empath and the highly sensitive person thrive because their brain and their nervous system works differently. So I know for myself, being in an art class, it felt less stressful because I had the time and the space to create in a way that made sense to me. A lot of highly sensitive people and empaths excel really, really well in the peer tutoring because of the fact that they understand what it's like to feel small, to feel stupid, to feel not good enough. So they end up being able to be amazing teachers in the way that they're able to show their peers, even people at the same age as them, how to look at problems and find solutions in a creative way. So a lot of people that I know that were highly sensitive or empathic growing up were actually teaching others at a really young age as well. And so this idea of the broken system, right? So here's the thing about a broken system, right? we end up polarizing ourselves when we grow up in these situations. It becomes either I'm bad and wrong because the system is okay, or the system is bad and wrong because I'm okay. And so a lot of times in our healing journey as HSPs and empaths, we move away from this place of I'm broken, which is exactly where we want to go, right? Because we're not broken. That's exactly the healing that we want to do. But we end up moving into this space of the system is broken, because we start to think, okay, well, if I'm not broken, then something must be broken because what happened here wasn't right? And so what I'm here to say is that if we look at the system as though it is broken, we are seeing a reflection of just another part of ourselves. So in order to heal something, we have to come away from this polarized sense of view of either I'm broken or the system's broken. It has to come together and say that those two things can exist perfectly simultaneously, and that our hurt and our pain that came from that broken system actually was meant to be there, right? So this is all about accepting the pain and the struggle that we grew up with. Because when we realize that the system is actually not broken, the system was created by cause and effect. It's not bad or good. When we put a label onto something such as a school system or a parenting style or any type of system, government system, any type of system that we see that exists out in the world, and we label it as either good or bad, we can't find solutions from that place. Because of the fact that true aligned solutions are gonna come from a place of pure neutrality, of saying, okay, that was the system, and if we truly believe in oneness or in, the fact that God, Buddha, Allah, Krishna created whatever name feels most comfortable for you, created everything, then that means the system was created that way as well. And so if we try to fix something that is broken, by law of attraction, we are going to get more broken because what we're focusing on is broken. So if we align ourselves to the fact of this is the system, and I love myself and this system created me, right? If you truly love your sensitivity and love who you are as an HSP and an empath, you stop seeing the system that created you that way as broken, because you can accept that that is what created you to be the beautiful human being that you are now. So the reason we say HSPs, empaths, we're never going to fix a broken system is because I want you to start seeing the system not as broken, but as part of a whole, right? And as not negative or positive, but as just completely neutral. It is the system. Okay, that's what it is. It's about fully accepting what is, and that is the system. It's not, it should have been this way, or I wish it was that way. That's what it was. And it created you to be the beautiful person that you are today. And so you shouldn't want to change it, right? So coming from a place of wanting to create something different versus wanting to fix something that is broken is completely different. So my life's work now for myself, as I've come to this place of acceptance and this place of realization, is really all about what would I want to create? What would I have liked to have when I was younger? Not because I felt like I was broken or I was mistreated or I was disempowered, but coming from a place of empowerment and saying, okay, this is what exists now, but how can we make it more inclusive? How can we make it that much more dynamic? How can we make it that much more diverse? How can we learn to support everybody? And in a system that feels expansive like that versus like contractive, like, oh, it's broken, so we have to fix it. You're able to create so much more, and what you do create has so much more impact, because really when you think of it, you think of what you're focusing on, right? So what you resist persists. So if we resist this idea of this system is bad, and I know a lot of people just in my generation alone just believe every system is bad. It's the technology is bad, it's the government is bad, it's the social media is bad, it's the school systems are bad. And when we come from that place, it's a very like victimhood mentality. And I'm not saying that there weren't people that were victims of the system when they were young. Yes, that's absolutely true. But it's about shedding that story and coming to a place of empowerment and being able to say, okay, look, this is what exists, and how would I create something that would be even more dynamic and even more beautiful? So just some food for thought today on how we can change our perspective from thinking that things are broken to creating from a more empowered place. Well, that's the video for today, guys. I hope you liked it. If you did, definitely hit the subscribe and like button. Comment down below what you thought. And we will see you next time on the next episode. Big love, Serena.